This is Del K. Brereton, and this is the real spiel. The live drive. The live drive. Is Wednesday hump day? Or is Thursday hump day? I forget. Y'all confuse me. It's the middle of the week, though. And they holding Puffy in jail for baby oil. They're holding Puffy in jail for baby oil. Mm-hmm. They're basically holding Puffy in jail for baby oil. My context of this conversation is, what would the aliens think? If you were from outer space, from a completely different culture, and then you came to Earth, and your research told you, listen, if you want to get a great understanding of what this world is like, I need you to go down there and observe what's taking place in the West. Just take a look at these guys. Just check them out. They're the bastion of what they refer to as civilization. They're calling themselves the free world. Just check them out. And when these aliens came and they started asking people questions, what kind of answers would they get for certain things, and how would things seem to them? How would things seem? Number one, they might ask the question like, is it legal to be a prostitute in the West? Now, if they came to Canada, they would hear absolutely, it's legal. You can be a prostitute. It's legal. It's not illegal to be a prostitute. Do you guys know that? Up here, up north, in the Great White North, it's not illegal to be a prostitute. But then they would ask, but is it legal to be a pimp too? Nope, can't be a pimp. That's totally illegal. Absolutely not. Okay, so is it legal to sell drugs? Well, that's a tricky question. If the drug dealer is the government, then absolutely. The government's a drug dealer. You can't call him that. But what if you get some private guy that's doing it, like he's doing cocaine or pills or meth? Oh, he's a drug dealer. That's totally illegal. Can't do that. Okay. Is it legal to kill people? Well, of course not. You can't just go out there murdering people. No civilized society would allow you to murder people. Okay, well, what about if the people were still in the bellies of their mothers? If they're fetuses, could you murder them? Oh, you can kill fetuses all day long. In fact, we killed more fetuses than we kill anything else in this world. You can kill infant babies all day long. You just can't kill people who are outside of the womb. Kill them in the womb. Kill them dead. Oh, wow. I think we would really confuse aliens. They wouldn't know what to think about us. What about same sex? Yeah, we've legalized that now. Really? Yeah, we're allowing same-sex people to copulate, to have their fun all the time. Really? That's interesting. Well, what if they organize orgies for them? Oh no, that's a RICO case. And don't you dare have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's completely illegal. We are crazy. We're really crazy. We're really crazy. Yep, we're absolutely crazy. I mean, that Puffy thing, I call him Puffy because I grew up with him being Puffy. Y'all grew up with him being P. Diddy. I don't know him as P. Diddy. I know him as Puffy. So I call him Puffy. That to me, no bail. What are they trying to get? The $250 million? They said that he was a flight risk. The Negro could have been a flight risk before he went to court. He wasn't under any indictment. Again, Puffy's a dummy. Now he can't leave the country. Can't leave the country now. He's in prison. He's in federal prison. Can't get out. federal prison because they got baby oil and tapes of him throwing parties with sex workers. Remember, prostitution is legal. You just can't organize it. You just can't organize it. That's a RICO case. My goodness, what a weird world we live in. Abso-flippin-lutely, baby. What a weird world do we live in. And again, don't get me started on Candace and Harris again, because I do believe I talked about that. I talked about that yesterday. I'm getting PTSD a little bit. I had such a crazy morning. My morning was terrible. Just to give me some encouragement. I was dressed. I was organized. I made breakfast so I don't have to stop and eat nobody else's food. I had my lunch packed. I'm moisturized. Okay? Shea butter, no baby oil. You can't even say baby oil no more. Brother can't even use baby oil no more. Can't even have baby oil in the house no more. I am kind of greasy this morning, but I was moisturized, ready to leave the house, and I couldn't find my wallet. I had the show idea in my head. I was just formulating it in my head, which is why I'm a little discombobulated. And I couldn't find my wallet. I have my house like pristine, is all organized and neat, and I had to tear it apart. Looks like a home invasion. And I left the wallet in my car. It was just here the whole time. What would aliens think? What would the aliens think? We live in such a controversial world. A world, and the word is not even really controversial. It's hypocritical. It's oxymoronic. It's ironic. The kind of scenario that we live in. We live in a world that tries to tax you for carbon. A world where tree huggers are talking. We used to talk about the ozone layer. We moved and we talked about carbon emissions, and the creating of all of this bad atmosphere. And then when people came up with a way to create vehicles that did not emit or did not require oil, they killed some of them. They hid that technology up until present day. Now they have electric cars. The electric car is more expensive than the so-called combustible engine car, because they don't really want these things, ladies and gentlemen. You only want these things because when you start actually being equitable and fair and moral, what takes place is you have no longer the use for people who are robber barons. The greed of the world. People want too much. They want too much. You want more shoes than you can wear in any one particular day. You want more clothes. Some of y'all want multiple wigs. Yeah, so, you want different things on your teeth. You're a consumer. You're a robust consumer. Your belly is full. You're a gluttonous individual. We have a gluttonous community. And our community is so gluttonous and oxymoronic. As I said that word before, I gotta get a simile, I gotta get a thesaurus. Somebody give me a different word for oxymoronic so I don't have to keep saying it all the time. But we sit in this parity of ill conclusions, of counter thought, that it does not make sense most of the time how we function in our lives. What else would the aliens say? They would say, what about these blacks in America? Yeah, they were treated pretty badly. Yeah. Have they ever tried to overthrow the country? Oh, never. They would never do that. They would never do that. Well, have they ever tried to pick up and decide that they want to have their own place to live because they know they're not from there? Oh no, they don't. They basically have acclimatized themselves to the plantation and the jail cell that they've lived in for the last 400 or 500 years. Wow, it's incredible. I know it's really an incredible thing of conditioning, and it's a anthropomorphic absurdity that individuals who have been living in a cage for so long, all you have to do is open the cage and tell them they're free, but they'll never leave the cage. They'll never leave the cage. Wow. Imagine. We would be, quite a study that we would be, wouldn't we? Imagine this, right? You abduct a woman from her home. and you rape her for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. You start calling her by a different name. You rape her every day, but you feed her. The house that she's being raped in is better than the house she came from. And at the end of the 2 weeks, you decide you're going to not rape her anymore. You're not going to brutalize her anymore. You're still not going to call her by her real name. And you open the door and you say you can go home. And imagine after that 2 weeks, she decides, I don't want to go home. I'm fine here. I'm okay. Yeah, but I'm going to keep raping you. That's okay. This is my home now. Now it sounds ridiculous because it's only 2 weeks, right? It's only 2 weeks. You know where I'm going. But multiply that rape, that abuse over the course of hundreds of years. And you teach that woman not just that is her new name. You give her a different language. You give her different religions, and you give her different cultures, right? And you name a section of the house after her every now and then, and you reward her sometimes, and you cause her to feel happy, but you rape her. Keep raping that girl. You rape the heck out of her. You rape her for 400 doggone years. And she, when you put a microphone in front of her mouth, she says, I'm proud to be a member of this house. And I'm not being raped. I was never raped. In fact, rape doesn't exist. I think those aliens would look at us like, wow, these are the most peculiar people of all. These ones right here. Wow, they're faster, they're stronger, they're bigger. Some of them are very, very intelligent too. And they just allowed this, absolutely. You know what we realized too? Most of them, their ancestors were the founders of great civilizations years and years ago. The other folks were living in caves and, didn't have any written languages, eating their meat raw. But these are the ones that are supposedly being marginalized. That is fantastic. What a condition we have found here. What would the aliens think? What would the doggone aliens think? As I was watching very different pundits talk about the Puffy case yesterday, this came to me. I said, this man really effectively just put Puffy in his proper place in local colloquialisms in life. He's a club promoter. He's basically a club promoter. You came to the club. Your mayor came to the club. Your city officials came to the club. Your presidents, your pastors, your leaders, everybody came to the club. He was a club promoter. He invited you. You came. When you got to the club, he had liquor already up there. He had dancing girls, dancing boys. He had music playing in the background. And he said, wow, this is a fantastic party. I love being here. And you asked him, hey, listen, you got any coconut rum? I really love coconut rum. I got coconut rum. Go into that room right there. You're going to get all the coconut rum you need. Oh, fantastic. Somebody else asked him, do you have any pizza? You're making pizza today, Puffy. Pizza? I've got pizza nonstop, baby. Go into that room right there. Lock the door behind you. You're going to get all the pizza you want. He was providing all these different services. And then he was paying little pizza makers to come and to be in that room and make as much pizza as they could handle. Absolutely. Every now and then, they probably get slapped in the back of the head with a slice of pizza. Some pepperoni and hit them in the eye. I think you understand my analogy. And then you walked out of that nightclub, and you had a heck of a time. And you came back, and you came back, and you invited your friends, and you came back. And now one day, the authorities figure that his organization of all that pizza and all that coconut rum, that is a RICO case. And regardless of whether you came there and paid for it, senator, judge, lawyer, city official, chief of police, doesn't matter. He's the promoter. But the thing that people don't understand is that the reason that people are able to do things like that is because they have customers. They have willing customers. And Puffy got all his customers on tape. They're all videotaped, but they seized those. They seized those. And the same tapes that they're going to use to say that he was brutalizing individuals, which he was, kidnapping people, which he probably was, forcing people to do things against their will, probably was happening there too. The same tape that they're going to use to bury Sean Combs, that judge, that city official, that lawyer, that mayor, that pastor who was at those parties participating, paying money for those services. Ain't nobody ever going to hear about them Negroes. Nope. What would the aliens think? What would the aliens think? We had a scenario up here during COVID where during COVID they understood that they had to leave them liquor stores open. I mean, everybody was being touched and contaminated, but it was urgent, according to city officials, that these alcoholics would not have to go through withdrawals. Please leave the liquor store open. And they did. They made the obtaining of liquor so easy in Toronto that you could literally go buy one bottle from a restaurant, walk out on the street with that doggone thing, drinking it. They made the law so lax. They made it easy to drink liquor. COVID-19 made it easy to drink liquor. Imagine that. That's COVID-19 opened up the doors for you to be able to buy alcohol, drink alcohol, do whatever you want with alcohol, because we were worried about these alcoholics. You know? These alcoholics were going to be suffering. You can't shut them down like this. Now, just a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, the Liquor License Bureau of Ontario decided that they wanted their employees to make a little more money. So they went on strike, closed the liquor stores. Oh my goodness. This is the government now. Our liquor stores are run by the government, by the state. They closed the liquor store. They went on strike. And nobody cared about those poor alcoholics who would go into shock because the liquor store was closed. A worldwide pandemic could not close a liquor store. But people who wanted $1 or more an hour on their check closed that doggone liquor store for a few weeks. That's the world we live in, baby. That's the world we live in. And got somebody out here saying something there. Sir Puffy, the version of all the Queen's Men. Yeah. There's a show on BET with Eva Marcels, aka Eva Pigford. That's what her real name is. She wanted to sweeten up that name a little bit. She has a fantastic series on BET called All the Queen's Men. Looks like a Tyler Perry series. I don't know if it's a Tyler Perry thing, but quite interesting. Like a long soap opera where Eva is like this queen bee, madam, what she calls herself, and she's the head of a criminal empire, specifically with the main entity a male strip joint. Quite a series. Some of you would find that very interesting. Yeah, surprisingly so. I actually started watching it, and I was like, why would I be sitting here watching a bunch of Negroes and with baby oil all over themselves? But yeah, Puffy's probably the male version of Eva Pigford. So I mean, if all the things they're saying about Sean is true, He's quite a nefarious Negro, boy. He's doing a whole lot of stuff. And that's what money affords you. And I said it again. This is my third day I say it. This is why rich, billionaire black people in America stay out of the limelight. They keep their stuff on the down low because they know that in a blink of an eye, RICO case, and you're behind. Because rich people can do anything they want. Rich people can do anything they want because people will do anything for money. They'll do anything. They'll do anything for money. And so rich people know that everybody has a price. And they just got to get your number. And you will comply. And if you don't comply, somebody that looks like you has the same services will comply. So you're not special. So some of them have amassed, I'm sure, a lot of dark tales. And they don't want that stuff coming up. Not these days. These days, nobody is immune from the shout from the mob. He touched me. It's not the gospel song. It's not he touched me. Oh, he touched me. And oh, the joy that floods my soul. It's not that song. It's not that song. They screaming me too, baby. Me too all over the doggone place. Everybody's got a me too foghorn just crying out, me too. Everybody. But my question really today is, what would the aliens think? Our world is confusing. To say the very least, it is quite confusing. And when we sit down and try to rewrite civilization again, I hope we get it right. Because your founding fathers, your founding white fathers, they didn't get it right. Because they weren't building a world for you. They weren't building a world for everybody. They're building a world for themselves and their children. And I think that not only racism is as American as apple pie, is as British as tea, is as French as a croissant, is as Spanish as a doggone taco. I think that racism goes hand in hand with this thing called greed. If you don't have greed, you don't have racism. There's no reason. Racism is the capacity to keep yourself furnished with so much power and wealth at the expense of another person's humanity. And I can articulate that very clearly because we've always had slavery, but we haven't always had racism. Because slavery was not a matter of race, it was a matter of class. It was a matter of power. Right? If you were a king and you conquered another king, he becomes your slave. Period. He becomes your slave. He is still on a royal pedigree with you. Right? But his class level changes because he's been conquered. We've always had slavery. You just haven't always had racism. Because racism was a mechanism to perpetually enslave people mentally. Because you can't create a large population of slaves and try to militarily keep them enslaved. They will eventually get big enough and strong enough and overthrow you. You have to make them enslave themselves. You have to make the slave open the jail cell door and say, Master, I ain't gonna step out there because you told me not to step out there, Master. I ain't going out there. I'm gonna stay right here in this cell. I like this cell, Master. Thank you, Master, for this cell. You had to do that. And the minds that came up with this level manipulation were true evil geniuses. Because all these years later, you're still looking at a black woman running for president and saying she ain't black. You're still happy to ignore all of the marginalization that's taking place in America because it's packaged. Marginalism awareness is packaged behind the Democratic Party. And I tell you right now, Democratic Party, all they got to do is change one thing in their party line to wake a lot of people up. Just declare that abortion is immoral. Declare abortion is immoral, and you will see how many people wake up. Tons of people wake up. Because not all Democrats are left-leaning liberals. Some people are simply people who are awake. And what is the new catch term now that people have, that the right has unleashed on you? And it's a slur for being black. Woke. They're saying you're woke. Imagine somebody being upset that you can see the manipulation, that you can see what they've done. When you can show them they're evil, and they're saying, "Oh no, they're woke," and you've turned that term around to make it negative, because I can see you now. You're not. There's no secrets anymore. I can see you. I see what you're doing. I can hear you. I see what you're doing. Uh-oh. We have a woke one here. They're woke. Right? The right hates that term. They've been using that like a battering ram. Oh, these woke liberals. That's just black liberals. That's just black people calling out the right wing, the white right wing on its nonsense. So, but what would the aliens think, boy? And last but not least, as I get off of this, what would them aliens think of you black Republicans? Oh my goodness, what would they think about you? You know what? Let me correct myself. There's nothing wrong with a black Republican. I misspoke and I apologize. What would you aliens think of blacks for Trump? That's what I want to say. What would aliens think of blacks for Trump? Nothing wrong with a black Republican. There is nothing wrong with a black Republican. Okay, I have no issue with a black Republican. I know many, and I know why they're black Republicans. Blacks for Trump. That's a whole nother story. What would they think of y'all? Probably exactly what we think of y'all. Del K. Burton, this is The Real Spiel. Big up to Dr. David Israel, our Hebrew mentor in the Hebrew class that we are looking for people to sign up. delkburton@gmail.com. Do you want to learn how to speak, write Hebrew, modern and biblical Hebrew? Within 5 lessons, you'll be able to understand and comprehend the Hebrew alphabet, Hebrew words. You'll be able to spell them, you'll be able to pronounce them and articulate them. It's 16 sessions in level 1, and it gets you into the understanding of the Hebrew mind, the mind of God given into the mind of the Hebrew. In that particular language. It's so powerful. It's so instructional. He's such a great teacher, and I'd love you to be part of that. delkburton@gmail.com. This is The Real Spiel. It's a morning drive. God bless y'all, and we'll talk soon.